Well, good morning. I'm Duane Gibbs. Alongside me, my partner, as always, Mark Bruce, the Hall of Famer, where it's December. We wanted to wish you and your family and your loved ones a very Merry Christmas and a happy and safe New Year. We're excited for where 2026 is taking us, and we're excited for you.
Hopefully, we have some Christmas presents we can give you a little belated in January.
Mm.
And for today, we're coming to you, just as Dwayne said, we want to wish you the merriest of Christmases in this wonderful time with all the promise that was born in this season. Um, this is one of our favorite episodes. We're going to replay it for you, and we hope you enjoy it as much as we did. With that being said, let's stay huddled up. This week's episode of Huddle for Success features our special guest, Rob Hoover, entrepreneur, builder, and developer.
Welcome to Huddle for Success. I'm your host, Duane Gibbs, alongside my partner, Mark Bruce, the Hall of Famer. As always, we come to you every Monday for our weekly podcast. We also do a Huddle Up session that comes to you every Wednesday and Friday. Check us out. It's a quick mindful thought for the day. With that being said, let's huddle up. What's up, bud?
Good morning, Dwayne. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm excited. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So happy to have you here. We are so excited. It's a pleasure to meet you. We've told our audience that from time to time we're going to have guests that are very successful. They've either mentored us or we've mentored them. And I can't wait to hear your story because I've heard bits and pieces. Dwayne talks about you all the time. You're a friend of Dwayne's. You guys have been friends for a while, and it is we are so appreciative of you taking time to come and chat with us. And man, I look forward to this.
Yeah.
Glad to be here. Thank you much.
Yeah. So, I know that you're busy. I know that you're real busy, and so we have been trying to connect and get you on because I think that you have an interesting story that our listeners can can really understand and put themselves in your position that will resonate with them. And so, with that being said, let's just jump in. I have a bunch of
Okay.
questions. I'm sure you'll be able to answer them all. No trick questions. Uh, but let's just talk it through. Why don't you talk a little bit about how you got started and tell everybody what you do, how you got started in the real estate business, and what that looked like, and we'll just carry on.
Okay. First thing, my first investment property is maybe like some homeowners. I was in the middle of renovating my own property, and another house came on the market that I really wanted. So I bought that house, finished the renovation, and then rented out what was my personal home. And did that for a while and eventually sold that property, but it kind of gave me the itch and the bug. And, you know, I was in the mobile home business for a while. I started out selling mobile homes, then managing dealership, and then owning two dealerships. And but I always wanted to do more in real estate. I wanted to do more with investing than what I was able to do. So I moved from a small town outside Charlotte into Charlotte and got into real estate. Started out with general brokerage, mainly just dealt with investors, and kind of went from there. Started investing in my own properties and learning the trade.
Gotcha. That's good. So, how long have you been in the business total?
Over 25 years. Telling
25
my age
years.
now, but a little over 25 years. Yeah.
Did you ever think that you would be here?
Um, in the beginning, no, I did not see that. I came from a family with my dad was a mill worker, and all I knew was work hard and do what you say you're going to do. But I had a very poor mindset. We grew up poor. We were always short on money. So I always thought about being broke or being poor. And it wasn't until I changed my mindset that things started changing for me.
So I'm sure a lot of negative comments about don't do that, go get a full-time job, everything will be okay type mentality.
I heard all that.
How
Yeah.
did you change your mindset? What prompted you to change your mindset, and how'd you do it? Did
I started, I've always liked reading, and started doing a lot of reading. One book in particular that sticks out in mind is Think and Grow Rich. And that and The Magic of Thinking Big, both those, that's right, you got to read that every um, it
Wow.
really started helping me realize how I was thinking. You're not even aware. It's so subconscious or so subtle. You don't realize that you're thinking negatively or you're thinking about bringing bad things into your life. So I changed my mindset. Things changed for me.
Wow. That's impressive because my dad gave me those two. My dad was an Amway distributor, and somebody gave him those two books, and he gave them to me when I was in college. So I can relate to that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
this is not rehearsed because Mark, I had no idea he was going to say that book. I've known Rob for a while and we've talked about, Think and Grow Rich and the importance of it and why it needs to be taught into elementary school and, all the way up through the ranks. And I think it's very important for that basis of the book. And it's just funny how, we teach a lot of the same systems, mindset within that. And here he says, I thought that was funny. So let's talk about, kind of what was your vision? What was your vision after you did those two houses and, the negativity that was being brought about and, kind of where you took it from there, how you dealt with the negativity and did you feed your mind beyond
Oh,
just,
yeah.
yeah.
I've been an avid reader, and you have to constantly feed your mind
Mhm.
because you will get yourself into a rut. You'll let your thinking go astray, and it's always good to do the basics, right? So make sure you read every day. Try to read some books that help you grow. It may be a self-help book. It may be a biography of someone who's been very successful that you're trying to learn. But you need to read and feed your mind with good, positive things all the time. Um, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Um, when I when I first got into it, real estate investing, I started doing flips, and at the time, this is the early 2000s. I was doing some high-end flips, and I was printing money. Back then, that's before the funds were buying
Legally.
legally. Yeah, I was definitely making a lot of money legally, and I didn't have a ton of competition. So back then, I bought a lot of houses at courthouse auction. Um, the majority of what I was buying at the time to rehab and flip was at courthouse auction. And I gravitated toward the higher end homes because there were huge spreads on them. You could buy them at courthouse auction. You could put some money into them, refigure them, whatever, put them back out on the market. And the margins were insanely high. And that's kind of where I got started at.
And so what did that inventory look like over the year? Did you set goals for yourself and saying, okay, I'll do 3 a year, 5 a year? I know your story, but why don't you share your story of the progression and how it
Yeah.
all led up to, I mean, it's impressive of how many deals you've done, with coming from your past background and just, it says a lot about you as an individual of that mindset that you stayed so focused and so strong at it. And we can also talk about some downturn times where,
Mhm.
man, you hit the wall and you just didn't bail out. You restructured. And so let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay, absolutely. So, back when I was doing the high-end flips in the early 2000s, I was averaging 5 houses a month. Because again, wasn't a lot of competition, and I had good crews. I subbed everything out, but I had good subcontractors, and we were turning and going, and things started slowing down actually in 2007. Everybody talks about 2008 and all that, but the market actually started slowing in 2007. So I'd buy a bunch of houses and I'd have one that was lingering, right? But I'd keep buying more. Then all of a sudden I had two lingering, and it kept going, and it kind of built up until the crash hit. And at the time of the crash, I had 26 high-end houses with mortgages on it.
Mm.
And literally it cleaned my clock. And it made me think, I've always worked really hard, and I've working hard to build up a big nest egg and put money away. I saved a lot of money, and I was just burning through cash. And it made me rethink, like, what could I have done different? What could I have done to have avoided all this? Well, the answer was I should have stayed with smaller homes that I could rent out and make the numbers work on my mortgages. You can't get $1 million house to cash flow on rent. But now $100,000 house or $150,000 house, you can make work. So I reconfigured my business, just like you said it, and I started going after just basic starter homes. That's the kind of houses I bought for rehab, the kind of houses I bought to keep for rentals. And I focused all my business on the starter home market and the bread and butter rental homes. And it's been wildly successful. As you know, I'm a general contractor, and I can build high-end homes, but that history keeps me away from that because I never want to go through that again. And so I've insulated myself by I do starter homes. I don't get strung out. If I build a home that I can't sell, I can always rent it out, which to me is even better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so you bought yourself some experience for sure.
Yeah, I paid a lot of money for it, but I definitely got
Yeah. It's funny because Duane kind of taught me the same thing in the note business. It's like the more options you have with your investments, the safer the investment is. If you can rent the house, if you plan to sell the house, you can sell it. If you can't sell it, then you can rent it. And just the more options you have, that's
it.
that's a really good lesson for people to learn.
When we were neighbors up in the mountains at our retreat weekend getaway place, it was always interesting to hear your background and tried to talk to you were like, hey, what do you do? And when I was in the educational business about in notes, it seemed like you were very intrigued and wanted to go that route, but I think that I kind of felt like he's got an oiled machine right now and really doesn't want to go down that suffering path of, man, if I let this go, this really needs I need to oversee all of this. And anybody that's, contracted work out, your subs that's a job.
Yeah. Oh, it's a job. Yeah. So, everybody says, I want to do what you want to do. But the thing is, I mean, it's work. There's no fun and play. Now I enjoy it. I like what I do. And, I work a lot, but I really enjoy what I do. And yes, the note business, very intriguing. There's definitely a lot of money to be made there. I just kind of stay focused on my core business, which again is just flipping, the lower end market homes, building the lower end market homes, and renting the lower end market homes.
Yeah.
So, we gave you our book, Playbook for Life. And why don't you share, your thoughts about that? I mean, I know what we've talked about, but for people that don't have it, why don't you share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. The first thing, and one of the biggest things for me, it addresses in chapter 1, and that's your mindset. We just talked about the mindset I had in the beginning and how I changed that. And really, that's the beginning part of it. So getting your mindset right, setting your goals, setting goals and an action plan that you can follow up, that you can track how you're doing. Having a partner, having a mentor, a coach to walk you through and help you with the steps. it means everything.
Did you
I see,
did you have that when you through going through your tough times and all? Was there somebody that you leaned on that had more experience than you?
um, when it came to the rental property, there was a guy that had a pretty big property management company in Charlotte. I learned a lot from him and his mentor. The guy's and his mentor, his name's Don Browder. Don's no longer with us, but he was a great mentor to me, taught me a lot of stuff, just a really smart guy. So I was fortunate enough to be around him. He had over 200 rental properties.
Mm.
He knew how to make money with rental properties. And then, I had a general brokerage real estate business I was growing. I was with Allen Tate Realtors. That's where I started. And fortunately enough, I spent a lot of time with the man, Allen Tate, who, when it comes to real estate, that guy had his finger on the pulse of Charlotte. He knew
He's
all about
everywhere.
brokerage. Yeah.
He's
And
every other
taught
commercial.
me so much, just
He
being
is.
around him and his mindset and the way he thinks and the way he looked at things, it's definitely helped me. I've had some good mentors along the way.
That's good. Mark, you have anything?
Well, your background. I was looking at your website, and Duane told me you started a new property management company, and you went from like no houses to 500 houses in a year.
Yeah,
In a
yeah,
year,
yeah.
that's an unbelievable amount of growth. How,
Crazy.
how did you do that?
Okay, so I was with Allen Tate Realtors and left there and started the property management company. And the first property I got was actually a referral from another agent that I worked with. And it was a home at the time. This is in 2010, so the market's still pretty soft. It's not good. And the guy had a pretty high-end home that he could not sell. But it was his personal home. He had paid it down quite a bit, and he was okay with renting it out. And I rented it out, and the guy had a really good experience. And then that owner referred me an owner, and then that owner referred me another owner that had rental property. And it was literally word of mouth. And really, the biggest thing we did different is, I had rental property managed by other property management companies, and I wasn't happy. And that's pretty common. And it's not necessarily something that the management team is doing wrong or bad. It's just you have an owner that has a property with expectations who wants to make a big return. You have a tenant over here who wants every little thing fixed, and you're trying to, be in the middle and keep them both happy. So I focused really my property management company on only representing owners. So in real estate, with agents, you have a buyer's agent, you have a seller's agent. Well, basically we were the seller's agent just for a landlord, right? So we're looking to protect their property and get their return. And I just focused that customer service around that owner. They're the ones with the homes, focused on that, and it helped me grow. It's just a word of mouth thing, and it went like wildfire.
Yeah, I think one of the things I took from Think and Grow Rich is you don't get wealthy doing certain things. You get wealthy doing things in a certain way. And that's what I just heard you say, because
Exactly.
my wife and I sold our retail business, and we bought a bunch of rental properties in Baltimore, and we hired 3 property managers. And property ma as an owner, it's hard to find a good property manager. So
Right.
to build 500 on a referral basis, you are absolutely doing something in a certain
He's
way.
crushing it.
It's the right
He's
way.
crushing it.
Yeah.
He's crushing it. So if you weren't doing this, Mark and I were on a real estate success summit, and we were asked this question. And so I'd like to ask you this question. We were kind of tongue-tied, didn't really know. If you weren't doing real estate, what would you be doing?
That is a really good question. I don't know anything other than real estate. One thing that I really enjoy is teaching people and helping them learn. And Duane, you know this, I'm an open book. I have no secrets. I try to help everybody along, you know, first time investors or whatever, you know, it's really enjoyable. Work, you know, back when I was in general brokerage, working with first time homeowners, it's a blessing to be able to help people and to teach them and guide them and mentor them and see them be successful. I mean, that's
awesome.
But
Yeah.
there's not enough of sharing of our knowledge. We need to share knowledge and help each other out.
Yeah, you know, you and I were talking on the phone last week, and I think I may have told you that I was getting ready to post an article to kind of shake up the industry a little bit. There are so many people that are on social media now that are yelling and selling, "Hey, I could show you how to make $3,000 to $5,000 in the market," and I call BS on that because it takes money in this market to make money. If you think that you're just going to go out and make a substantial living with no money, and you know somebody wanting to show you how to make $3,000 to $5,000 a month, that's a lot of money.
Right.
In today's market, that's a lot of money, especially if you don't have any money. So, you know, just be careful in falling down a rabbit hole because you need money. Money is a result, not a cause. And so I say this all the time. You have to do something to make something. Make sure it's the direction that you want to go. Make sure it's a stable and secure investment that you're getting into. Make sure that somebody has a higher resume than you do, and you're able to work with that individual. So Mark and my very good friend, Kevin Shortell, he has a training program and you work directly with him. So he's the guru, so to say. He's the head guy that has 30 years of the experience in being in it, and you work directly with him. And so just like you, somebody could learn directly from someone like you. And that's what I'd have to say, because 9 times out of 10, you and I both know you bought some franchises and it all sounded good until you invested 30, 40, $50,000.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you didn't work with that guy. You worked with somebody that had zero experience, never been in the trenches, and reading a teleprompter that they're trying to get you through to accomplish your goals. And I would like to know your feeling on that.
Yeah, those are good words, and you're exactly right, because there are so many internet gurus out here, you know, telling you what they can do, and a lot of them have never really done anything. It's just an internet face. That's all it is. You know,
Yep.
It's claiming of doing something. But like you said, Kevin, who's in notes, and I know he's in notes, and I learned a lot from him just talking with him and reading his stuff and following him.
Yeah.
But you need to be learning from someone who is actually doing what you want to do. And a lot of those guys on the internet, all they're doing is selling packages on the internet. They're not doing real estate. They're not investing in real estate. You want to find somebody that's doing that and have them mentor you in the right way to go.
Right. Yep. So I asked, what would you do if you weren't doing the real estate business? What would you say to a younger you? What would that look like? How would that unfold with the direction, you know, what they need, what they don't need, and where should they go in today's market?
If I was teaching myself or talking to myself, an 18-year-old.
Well, you have new kids.
I have young
You have
boys.
brand
This
new
is what I
babies.
tell
You
them all the
have
time.
brand new babies.
Yeah.
Multiple.
So we're, you know, I'm building a real estate portfolio that creates generational wealth. You know, I grew up poor without money, you know, didn't inherit anything. I want to change that cycle for my children.
That's
And I try to teach them in the business. They go out with me. Even the stuff like cleaning out the storage building we bought. You know, I mean, they help me in every step, and they're young guys, but I teach them and talk to them about it and force read to them because guys, reading is important. If you're not reading, start reading today and don't stop. Just keep reading. So,
Yeah.
try to inform your mind and it's just exactly what I'm doing. Just stick with the basics. I kind of keep my blinders on, and I kind of, that's one thing. I know I missed some opportunities because I am keeping my blinders on. I stay in a pretty narrow path. We've talked about it. Houses I buy, I get pitched 20 houses a day and some of them over here, over there, this townhome, whatever. And it's not my buying criteria, and I stick with my buying criteria. And I think that's what you got to do is you have to focus on something and you have to put everything into it. Burn the bridges, throw the oars off the boat, and follow your passion, follow your dream.
That's good. That's really good.
It's funny. I just came back from a leadership retreat in Canada, and
He drove to Canada, so it was good training.
Focus was one of the main things I got out of it. And on the way, I listened to Think and Grow Rich I listened to the entire book on the way up. So I put it on like 1.25 speed on Audible, and
Yep.
you can't listen to that good stuff enough. But yeah, focus. I've heard you say that a lot. And
yeah, that's the power of focus,
So I know that there is, let's talk about next step for Rob. So what's that look like for you? What's your next aha moment, your vision for, I know you've gotten into new construction. I know that you work with investors. And so what's that next level look like for you and your plan?
Okay, so we've been building basically one-off, single lot, starter homes, rental homes. So the next step, and I have done a small amount of this, is buying pieces of land, develop it out, build those starter homes in there, have some for rentals. A lot of the big funds right now are building complete neighborhoods for rentals.
Look at Mooresville. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of that. But what I'm looking to do is more build starter homes and keep a few of them in neighborhoods and, continue to develop with that. And of course, I'll keep buying rehabs, keep buying rentals.
So does that look like tracts of land and then cutting them out and then putting houses on those?
That's right. Buy a tract of land, maybe run a street through, cut some lots. As you know, one of our mutual friends just bought a farm, and that's what we're doing there.
Yeah.
So it's, that's kind of our goal in business. That's our next step, to try to acquire more and build more.
Yeah. So you've got a partner in this, so you bring different partners in to do different deals.
Right. So I do have partners on certain deals or in certain LLCs, and we'll own a group of homes, and that's worked out phenomenally well. I've been very fortunate as far as that goes, to have really good partners that, have the same vision and want to see things grow. And, I just can't say enough about my partners. I'm very fortunate. I have really good partners in this business.
That's awesome. Mark, anything else?
Well, from the little bit that I know, from the little bit we've had a discussion, you attract what you are, and you're attracting good partners because you've got a good heart and you're doing the right thing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to bring him on just because I think that he has a great message that our audience, can gravitate towards and understand that he didn't build an empire overnight. I mean, it took him 25 years to build this business. And Mark and I talk all the time about having a powerful mindset. And we all have been faced at some point in our life to where someone's told you, hey, you can't do this. And so at Huddle for Success, that's what we do. We help you overcome these challenges and keep you focused on whatever that is, whether you want to be the next Rob Hoover and, operate 550 properties, or you want to go out and create your own coffee shop. You have to have that proper mindset, and being able to create a game plan. And a lot of people suffer with that. They have a huge vision of where they want to get to. They just don't know how to get there. And so I think that's what Mark and I do really well, just because of our experience of combined of 70 years. For 30 years I worked with people one-on-one, sitting across the table with them and try and find out what's their why, what's their pain point, and how are they going to get there. And to be honest with you, at the end of the day, they don't know how they're going to get there. And if they feel like, hey, this is the direction I want to go, they they just they always want more time. They want their time back. And hands down, across any industry, you ask anybody what they want, and they tell you they want more time, especially when you get, in your early 60s and moving up. You want more time, and that's something that you just cannot buy. You can alter a day to create a couple more hours, but you can never buy any more time.
You just said something interesting when you were talking about sitting across the table from people and training them and helping them to get there. And I remember just even back our early conversations when we first met, what a positive guy you were. And maybe that's what attracted us to each other, right? Because
Yeah.
I didn't even know at the time that you were dealing with notes or real estate. We just started talking and became friends pretty quickly. But man, just talking to you, being with you, I always look forward to your phone call, because I know I'm going to be uplifted after the phone call. I really appreciate everything you do, Duane. You help a lot of people, and you need to keep doing it, man, because you're good at it. You've got a great attitude, and I'm getting to know Mark and really enjoyed my talks with him. But, Duane, you've done a lot for me, buddy, and just, helping me keep myself in check, right?
Yeah,
So,
I appreciate that. And hopefully, obviously that'll continue. I had a buddy of mine that read Playbook for Life, and I've known him 30 years. And he goes, "You're not going to believe this." And he goes, "You rascal," I'll use that word, and son of a gun. And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "I went down and signed up for the gym that day." And I said, "I think Mark and I did a really good job of collaborating, of trying to put some beginning structures to what we hope people will read and take from, but yet need more." I mean, there's not a shot in the arm that we can give anybody to get them to that level. I mean, it takes time, it takes collaboration, it takes one-on-one, it takes talking that out with someone that is stuck. And when you're stuck, sometimes it's hard to get unstuck. And so I think we do a really good job of getting people unstuck and getting them to that next level, whether it's creating a legacy or whatever that is. But it was good to see a friend of 30 years say, "Hey, I went down, I read the book, and I needed to make a change, and I signed up for the gym," something that little. So that's awesome. I appreciate your kind words. I appreciate you as a friend. I've always was admired about what you've done and the path that you went down, and raising a new family. You're not young, and raising that.
Gee, thanks, Duane.
Well, yeah. Listen, again,
I was going to
I'm an
invite him.
open-
I was
I'm
going
an
to invite him
open
back
book.
on. I wanted to have him back on like real quick, and now he's not going to come back on.
Rob and I are an open book, so we just say
That's
whatever, and so but you're a wonderful dad, a great husband, you're a great friend. We know mutual friends, and they all feel the same way about you, and always positive things to say. So if you could spread a message right now, what would you look for? If someone says, "Hey, I want to reach out to Rob and, kind of pick his brain on something." What's that look like for you?
um, uh, like what would I
What are
do with?
you looking for? Is there opportunities that people can invest with you? Are there opportunities that I don't know? What's that look like?
Um, well, I like-minded people, so positive thinking people that um, aren't looking to screw people, if I may say that,
You
you
just
don't
did.
gain anything in this world by doing people wrong. If what you're doing is harming people, stop doing it today. Look to help people, just like Duane's helped me, just like I've helped other people. So just looking for like-minded people that wants to grow. And Duane, you talked about your book, and I love your book. And if people hadn't read it, they need to read it. And I know you gave me
Well, it's both.
my
It's not
copy. I
just
don't
me.
know how
It's
everybody
definitely.
else gets a copy, but man,
Yeah,
it's
it was
you
a
guys.
collaboration of Mark and I. So it's not just me. It's a partnership for sure.
You guys did a great job with that book, and
Thank you.
I've gone back and read parts of it again, so it's very informative. It's good for you.
Gotcha. So as always, this is transcribed. So we'll go back and we will transcribe it, and then it will post out there, which is awesome. And everybody that wants to be able to get connected with Rob, you'll be able to. Information will be posted, and that's really all I have. Mark, you have anything else?
No, I am just so grateful that you came on today and the message that you shared, um, that people can see that you don't have to come from money, and
Right.
a simple thing of changing your mindset can can make you be able to help so many people. Because I can see how many. I mean, there is such a shortage of starter homes in this
Mhm.
country right now, and that is really needed. And yeah, I can't wait to get to know you more, Rob, and hang out with you more. I think
Thank you.
we're definitely going to have you back on if you're willing.
Well, I've enjoyed it, and
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys and all you've done for me.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, listen, thank you for watching today's episode of Huddle for Success, where we come to you each and every Monday. Also, check us out on Wednesday and Friday. We'll redo our quick huddle up session. Like, share, leave a comment, and we look forward to seeing you next week on Huddle for Success. In the meantime, stay huddled up. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Huddle for Success. If you found it helpful and want to support others on their journey, share this podcast, leave us a rating, and drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll see you next week on Huddle for Success. Stay huddled up.